I first drove the Kia Carnival way back in July of 2018, and then I did a comparison test between the Innova, the Carnival and a bunch of other MPVs in February of 2019. So what's different now with this comparison? Well, we finally have the prices of the Kia Carnival. And let's be honest here, the price gap variant to variant between these two cars is almost rupees 10 lakh. So is this a fair comparison? Well, kind of. You see, the top of the line Toyota Innova ZX diesel automatic retails at a little over rupees 23 lakhs. In fact, it is just about rupees 1.30 lakh shy of the Kia Carnival's starting price. So you see, anybody going for a top of the line Toyota Innova diesel automatic very much has the Kia Carnival as an open option. Now, why would you choose a Carnival over an Innova? Well, it's natural, of course, because of space and comfort. For the Carnival is significantly larger than the Toyota Innova. But before we begin, do take the time to subscribe to our channel and like this video. As for this comparison, well, I'm going to be honest here. The test cars that were available from Kia's side is the top of the line limousine model at well over rupees 33 lakh, and the variant of the Innova we have for representation over here is the now discontinued 2.8 litre diesel automatic model. Why? Well, because Toyota India doesn't have a BS6 test car as of now. Nevertheless, the 2.4 litre automatic diesel model that's currently on sale comes with the same 6-speed torque converter automatic gearbox. It in fact delivers an identical 360 Newton meters of peak torque, even though the RPM range is a little bit different, and it's about 24 horsepower shy now. So if you're one of those thousands of customers queuing up to buy a Toyota Innova, let's take you inside the Kia Carnival and show you just how much of an upgrade it can be for you at just a premium of over a lakh or perhaps 9 lakh rupees. Right, now that I've stepped into the second row seats of the Carnival, let me tell you this, that the international spec model that we tested earlier had a one-touch lever on the side of the seat, so you could fold the entire seat in one action, and it was very convenient. But this India spec model does not have that lever, so we're going to insert some shots here where you got to adjust and pull at multiple levers to fold this seat entirely forward. It's a bit of a tedious task, but once that's out of the way, it's quite easy to step into the third row seats. Right, now coming back to the second row seats, you can see that I'm stretched out and I'm feeling very comfortable over here. The front passenger seat is stretched all the way to the front, and as I'm sitting here, I get a calf support over here, but there is no footrest, so that's a bit of a disappointment, and I have to rest my legs on the backrest there. Might leave some marks, but yeah, coming back to the seat, it's very supportive. I have decent lower back support. There's no question of under thigh support now because of the leg rest over there. The ride seems to be fairly comfortable, but you know, over wavy roads and speed breakers, the back of this car tends to catch a lot of that rebound action from the suspension. Right, coming to the toys for second row occupants, well, you get individual climate control settings for the second row. Unfortunately, they are mounted on the right side over there on the roof of the car, primarily for left-hand drive markets. Would have been nice if it was possible for Kia to shift that over here for right-hand drive markets, but anyway, the AQI display is over there, so I can see that you get a USB port and you get a 220 volt socket, so that's convenient. As for this second row door, well, it is a huge electronically sliding second row door. It's very convenient, especially in tight parking lots where you can get in and out very easily. There are multiple ways to open that door, from a button over there, from the lever there. In fact, the driver can do that as well from the roof buttons over there, and you get a rear sunshade. So all in all, it is a fairly comfortable place back here in the Kia Carnival's second row. There's also a tab up front which I can take off the back of the passenger seat up front. So this tab you can detach from the back of the front passenger seat. In fact, both passengers at the back get this screen, and essentially you can detach it, connect it through your phone via Wi-Fi and Miracast, and use a range of functions. You can also listen to music, for example, but you have to have your headphones connected to the port of that screen because it doesn't connect to the speakers of the car. Aside from that, you can't really watch stuff such as from Netflix on that screen because Miracast doesn't allow that. But it is a nice toy to have nonetheless. But there is an HDMI port in that tab, so probably you can use that to watch stuff on the screen. Overall, I think there's plenty of stuff here in the second row to spoil you silly. So I guess it's time for me now to get less comfortable and hop into the third row of the Carnival. So now that I've moved into the third row of the Carnival, I have to say that I'm less comfortable. But you know what? I'm not at discomfort over here. In fact, this second row is reclinable, and I am at a very comfortable position right now for long distance journeys. The only issue is the small seat squab. It's quite narrow, so I don't have any under thigh support, and I have somewhat of a knees up position over here. But you know, apart from that, I think the backrest is quite supportive and I am decently comfortable here. Right, now when it comes to driving the Carnival, well, this car is over 5 meters in length, and there is no ignoring the sheer size of the thing. So while in metro cities today with bigger roads and wider roads rather, it's not so difficult. In fact, it feels fairly easy to drive and maneuver around town. But around tighter spots and say tier 2 city roads, it's going to be a bit of a task to manage the width and the length of this car. Now this car is powered by a 2.2 liter turbo diesel engine that has been mated to an 8-speed automatic gearbox. Now the car feels very smooth to drive. In fact, NVH is also fairly low, but as you cross the 3000 RPM mark, typical of a diesel engine, you know, that engine note tends to intrude into the cabin a little bit more. So the Carnival is very smooth to drive, and even though it has a massive 440 Newton meters of peak torque and 197 bhp, it doesn't feel like an outright bruiser. And that's largely down to this car being set up for being a very comfortable motorway cruiser. Now when it comes to handling, well, you know, around tighter bends, you do feel that body roll a little bit, but out on expressways, around wider bends, it's very comfortable. So it's now time to move into the Toyota Innova Crysta and see what that feels like to be traveling in. Right, now that I've gotten out of the Carnival and come into the Innova, I have to say that that 9 lakh rupee price gap is pretty evident. You know what? You know, the Innova's build quality is actually not bad, but once you step down from the Carnival, it doesn't feel as plush as that. Remember when the Innova first came out, this version of it, the Crysta, it looked very premium, very upmarket. Some of those hard plastics are still around, but overall it's not that bad a place. It's not as lively as the Kia's cabin, definitely, but overall it's not all that bad. Straight off the bat, you can tell how much NVH is there inside this cabin. It's far louder over here, the engine, than in the Carnival. And you know what? You feel the difference in that sense that it doesn't feel as plush as the Carnival. But then again, you have to remember that this car costs 9 lakh rupees less than that limousine variant of the Carnival. But at the same time, it's only a lakh or so less than the base variant of the Carnival, so you can have some of that goodness at a lower price. So what does it feel to drive the Innova? Well, this 2.8 liter engine, which is now discontinued, is very powerful. This car feels fast all of the time. In fact, you should drive in eco mode in the city because it'll save you some fuel, and you can't really feel dampened throttle response all that much. But the moment you switch to power mode and that 170 bhp kicks in, this thing just takes off. It feels like a very fast car. And in fact, despite being an MPV, body control is very good. Out on highways, you feel confident, not as confident perhaps as the Carnival at very high speeds, but around bends, it feels very planted and very comfortable to drive on these long journeys as well. Thanks also to the 6-speed automatic gearbox. This one too goes about its business smoothly and there's no problem. Now when it comes to kickdown acceleration, there is that typical diesel automatic kind of delay as you feel in the Carnival as well. But once that power comes on, the Innova feels very sprightly. But the only disappointment here is that that engine really tends to get loud. It's roaring as it gives you that power. So it's not all that bad, but it's a step down from the Carnival, definitely. Ride comfort? Well, at slower speeds, the Innova lets you down. The ride tends to feel bumpier than the Carnivals, but it has less of that suspension rebound at the back. But as the speeds build up, the Innova's ride tends to get more and more comfortable. And you know what? As a cross-country tourer, no wonder this has been India's favorite MUV. It's tough, it's durable, and it can really take a beating. But the highlight of the Innova has always been its quality and reliability. This is a Toyota. Its resale values tend to be so high that you're shocked when you go to buy one of these second-hand. So from that standpoint, the Innova will continue to be a very loved vehicle in India. It will continue to sell in very high numbers despite the arrival of the Carnival. And with that, it's time to hop into the second row seats of this car and see what it feels like to be traveling in the Innova. Alright, now that we've moved into the second row of the Innova, these bucket seats are very nice. They're very wide, so you get a lot of shoulder support. The seat squab is very long, so you get a lot of under thigh support. There's a decent amount of lower back support as well. So you get a commanding view out of the cabin. And the AC controls for the second row occupants are located at the center of the roof, so it's easy for both occupants to access. Now in terms of ride comfort, well, in terms of the Carnival, it's not right up there, but you know what, it's not uncomfortable at all. In fact, it's only over wavy roads that you feel more of that body movement in the Innova, but that's down to its ladder frame chassis. The Carnival is a monocoque chassis, so that's where the difference comes, and that's why the difference in ride comfort exists. And with that, I have plenty of space over here, so let's move into the third row now and see what that is like. Now that I've stepped into the third row of the Innova, what I can tell you straight away is that you feel how much of a less space there is in here in comparison to the Carnival's third row. So in terms of legroom, I definitely am short of legroom in the third row here in comparison to the Carnival's third row. However, I have done third row travel in the Innova earlier, and it's not really uncomfortable. You know what, it's actually quite manageable. Like the Carnival, the seat squab here is short, and you have more of a knees up experience. Although in the Carnival, you have a more knees up experience than in the Toyota, so it's good marks to the Innova there. But legroom is less than the Carnival. You have a reclinable backrest, so that's quite comfortable as well. Although I have to say that the Innova wins on the reclinable part, because I can do that manually from here, whereas in the Carnival you can only do it from the boot. That's not so great. So when it comes to third row travel in these MUVs, I have to say that the Innova and the Carnival, both of these cars, they provide an ample amount of space and comfort for all occupants in all rows. But where the Carnival really wins is in terms of boot space, because with all these seats up, you only get a meager 300 liters of boot space. That's not enough for long distance travel, so you'll probably have to get a roof rack. It's no secret that the Toyota Innova has been the favorite for MUV buyers in the country. With its reliable, practical, well-built and spacious nature, the Innova has won hearts of thousands and lakhs of Indian customers. Factor in its high resale value, and the Innova has gone on to be an extremely profitable product for Toyota. But as I mentioned in the beginning, the Kia Carnival is here to expand the horizons for the MUV segment. Innova buyers can now realistically consider this car as an alternative option. Despite the massive difference in character of both these cars, it's really commendable that Kia has managed to price the entry-level variants well within the reach of Innova buyers. But the Carnival's opportunities don't just end there, because not only can Innova buyers consider this car, but more expensive rivals such as the Toyota Velfire and the Mercedes-Benz V-Class, well, the Carnival really has what it takes to take the fight to those cars which cost over twice as much as this does. Now, this limousine variant of the Carnival is very well equipped. But let me tell you this, that even the entry-level variants, they have a lot of equipment. The electric doors, the infotainment system, Apple CarPlay, everything is available even in those variants. So you see, you get a wholesome product. And not just that, you can specify the Carnival in 7, 8 and even 9-seater variants.